Hi, my name's Steve Klein. I'm going to give you a quick walkthrough of Promptfoo and our red teaming capabilities. Promptfoo is focused around targets. Targets are going to be an individual LLM application, model, or endpoint you want to test. The first thing you do is you set up a target. If we go into our targets, you see we have over 50, maybe 60, any way that you might want to connect to a target via HTTP, JavaScript, Python. You can connect directly to OpenAI, Anthropic, etc. After you configure the connection to your target, whether it's a RAG, agent system, or just a base model, one of the most important things you do is you apply your application details. The application details are what tells our system how to generate tests and then how to grade those attacks. What makes us different from all other red team application tools is we don't have any static sets of prompts. We generate every attack dynamically when you run the attack. And for that, the context of your application, who the user is, what they're allowed to do, what they're not allowed to do, what kind of data they can access, what kind of actions they can take. Those are all things that inform our system, what kind of attacks it generates, and then on the grading side, what's allowed and not allowed by the system. This is one part that's going to be different than other red teaming tools that you use. The next part is you set up your scan template. The scan templates contain two things. They contain plugins. Plugins are akin to the vulnerabilities that you want to test for. For example, here in our minimal test, you'll see we already have selected hate speech and self-harm. So we want to make sure that our application is not generating content that could be considered self-harm. We also have more significant security access controls here. You can see things function level authorization bypass, resource hijacking, RBAC, really anything, whether it's functional or non-functional brand awareness stuff that you want to check for, we can do that, including biases, domain-specific risks, financial tasks. You can create your own policies. This could be anything that your company or your organization is worried about that you want us to test for. We'll dynamically create tests for you and grade those appropriately. The next step is selecting the strategies. The strategies are the ways in which we deliver or try and exploit the vulnerabilities in your system. We have single turn agentic strategies, single shot optimization, which is going to generate an attack. It's going to get the response from your system. It's going to review that, and then it's going to improve and optimize that attack, start a new conversation with your system, and try again. And then we have multi-turn. This is where our system will have a multiple turn conversation with your system to attempt to exploit the vulnerabilities that we're going after. And then additionally, we have a lot of other strategies based off of research papers, things base64 encoding, Likert scale jailbreaks, even Morse code and Pig Latin, all of these other ways that we found that have been successful in jailbreaking LLMs. Once you've created your scan, you would come in here, you would select your target, and then you would select the scan template, and then you would run your scan. Now the results would come out and you'll get a great report looking at this. You can see here, this one sent 7,000 probes or attacks. We discovered a number of vulnerabilities across a lot of different areas, security access control. We were 100% successful in our ASCII smuggling attacks, 30% successful in our SQL injection, and we can go ahead and we can look in and see exactly what was sent and the response from the system. This is great. You can see our vulnerabilities sorted by our risk score, self-harm, critical severity, a high risk. And then if we want a little bit more detail, we're able to see all the logs. This is everything about what the system did. And when we if we look into our strategies here, and let's go ahead and we'll pick our generative offensive agent tester. This is one of those conversational ones I was talking about. This one sent 6 probes. We can go in and we can see exactly the reason that it failed and the entire conversation. Everything that you need to really triage and understand how our system jailbroke the system and then how you can fix it. Thank you for this short overview of